Hi, it's me, Queen KB, here for another edition of the Royal Council on Wrestle Royalty. With me today is Lord Lewis, because we need a foreign, to the United States, foreign accent. And we have Baron Botch, because, well, I was going to say because we need somebody pretty to take over for Dre, but we've got Botch, so it is what it is. Today we're going to be discussing the female wrestlers and how things have changed since the horrible days of the divas, which companies are absolutely killing it with the women and which companies, well, need a good swift kick in the slats, Cody Rhodes. So, Botch, what do you have to say? Who do you think, not company, who is your top female wrestler out there right now and why?
Ooh, you came in with the big guns right away.
Yes, I
Tripping
did.
you up.
It's so cool that this is a problem right now.
I know, isn't it?
Because I know, like, we're all like you're both calculating and just.
I already know who my favorite is.
Okay.
I know who my favorite is.
Tell us what yours is.
Oh my gosh, Maya Yim. Straight up, Maya Yim. And she had been for a while. I just love that she is not being pigeonholed into a racial character. Because she was born and bred in the United States.
Yeah.
Or is she Canadian? No, she's United States. She's California.
Yeah, California.
I loved her from the start when I first saw her in NXT, but I have just recently been watching a lot of older Impact. And watching Maya Yim work the ring with Gail Kim in Impact, I'm done. Maya is so underutilized. She deserves so much better than she's getting. And I want to see her brought up to, well, SmackDown so I can write about her. But I want to see her get a real push because she is just that damn good. She can talk, she can work the ring, and she can emote.
Yes.
And she's gorgeous. So that's who my favorite is. And obviously there's a list of 10 people behind her going, me. You know, there's Nikki Cross, who has been right up top for a while for me. And I know I catch crap for it, but I love Dana Brooke. I think she's so much better than most people give her credit for. I don't want to hear it from both of you. I see it. So, but that's why we have our favorites. So, Botch, who is it?
Gosh, you make such a good case for Mia, though. Because I've been watching her since she was in Maryland. She was with a team, I can't remember, one of them was Drawlix, who's still working on the independents now. And there was another guy, it's just that I'm getting old and my brain's not doing it. But it was a three-member faction called Black Wall Street. And she was one of the members of that team, and she was fantastic even then. So she's been great. She was great well beyond Impact or anything in NXT. I mean, she was great in the Dollhouse. She was fun there because she was a totally different character. I did like that. But you know, even back then, she's just been good forever. You make a really strong case for her.
I just think she's so underutilized and has so much more than WWE, but that's a common issue, men and women.
Yeah, and she loves wrestling. Like, you can just tell she has such a love for it. She really does. As for my favorite, you make such a good case for her. It's hard not to say her now that you make me think of it, because I really like Mia Yim. Geez, I'm going Bianca Belair at this point.
Oh, she's right up there for me too.
She's dripping in the same kind of charisma that you talk about. She's great in wardrobe. Gotta add that too. She made those golf pants for Montez.
They were amazing.
She did those herself.
The basketball shirts for them, she made those.
She does. She's done their everything basically.
Oh yeah, she is. Her ring gear, their ring gear. She's amazing. She is someone I look up to for her design and sewing skills.
Yeah, and then on top of that, she has the nerve to be incredible on the mic. She's got incredible, not just charisma, but incredible presence. You know she's there. She's just a foot off the ground from everybody else except for her husband.
Oh yeah.
Her husband is right up there with her.
I remember when she first had her first title shot, and everyone was like, "Why is she there?" And I was like, "No, she's great. She deserves to be there. How is she not there sooner?" And then slowly she built up these fans, and now everyone's loving her. And I'm just like, this is what I saw back when she first had that title shot.
She had it the whole time, and if you saw the combine lasted forever. But if you saw it, and I did watch it, I watched it in pieces because it went on for I think 5 hours. But she's just an absolute beast. She has incredible strength and conditioning, just incredible. And Mike, as we already said, great ring work. She really literally is the EST. She's not kidding. She has everything that it takes to be successful. I would love to see her in a tag team with Naomi and watch them just kill it.
Well, I'm enthralled. I'm enthralled. I mean, I'm always, how the women work the ring with their hair everywhere, I don't know. But that woman works the ring with easily 5 pounds of hair hanging off her head. Because extensions are not light and that braid is thick.
Yeah, I know. When I wear mine, it's awfully heavy. It's just...
Exactly. Well, I mean...
I don't know why you're laughing.
The extensions I had in for the show 2 weeks ago, those were probably about a 20th of what she'd have on her head, has on her head for every show, and that's coming off one spot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I worry about traction alopecia with her hair breaking, but I know she doesn't wear it all the time, so it's not as big of a deal. But she uses
it as a weapon too, which is fun. Like every once in a while, she'll use it as a weapon.
I've seen other people use it as a weapon against a third person in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
has she actually used it when there's been no crowd? Because I can imagine the noise would be quite sickening from that.
I don't think she has. Not since she's been in NXT. I don't think she's used it on the main roster at all, but it is. I mean, you could even hear it with the crowd in there.
Exactly, yeah.
Sickening, when she does it. And it's gotta hurt. It's just
massively, yeah. There's no way of faking that.
No, not at all. It's like a chair shot. You can't fake that. It's going to hurt.
I'm sure it hurts, but thinking about the type of hair it is, because I'm sure she's using the synthetic, I can't think of the name off the top of my head. It has a cushioniness to it, depending on how tightly it's braided. So it might not be as bad as it sounds.
That's how it is, yeah.
Okay, Lewis.
So I'm torn between two. So one is Io Shirai.
Yes.
She's amazing, and I hope she stays with WWE. The second one, who has floundered recently, which is a shame. A little bit, not massively, but Alexa Bliss.
Really?
I really like Alexa Bliss.
Her character or who she is as a person, or both?
Both. I mean, when she was down in NXT, I honestly thought this person is going nowhere. Like, she's going to be released and gone because she had nothing going for her. And then as soon as she split away from Murphy and Blake, this personality started to come out. I was like, oh, wow, she's good. I mean, I didn't see much in ring work back in NXT. I think she was usually used for squash matches and stuff like that, so there wasn't really a lot to see from her. But as soon as she came to the main roster, I was like, where was this person back in NXT? Because I was just gobsmacked by her ability, her promos, just the way her presence she had. Like, it was just, I was in awe by it. But obviously the concussions have sidelined her career a little bit, and I think she has started to not be as exciting as she was back then. And I think that's also down to because I think she's better as a heel than a face, and I feel like this kind of face side of her, it's a little bit bland, a little bit boring, but also because they don't really have anything for her, that's going against her as well.
Yeah, she needs somebody to play with, and she doesn't. I mean, she has Nikki, and that is fun, but she's more or less kind of like the straight man to Nikki's manic thing, rather than kind of her own personality. The best she ever was is in that feud with Nia Jax when she was heel. That was the
Yeah.
coolest thing I've ever seen. When we talked about that actually on a former incarnation of the show, and just how completely amazing she was as a monster heel. I mean, she was just super mean, and that whole angle sent such a great message to little girls. It was one of the best anti-bullying angles I think I've ever seen. It was just so well done. It wouldn't have worked anywhere near as well if she weren't so mean.
Yeah.
It also, I love the fact that she did all of that mean stuff while outside the WWE, she speaks so openly about eating disorders and what she went through personally. And I wasn't sure of her at first, but as soon as I started hearing her background and how open she is, she won me over.
Yeah, she's been through a lot. And the unfortunate thing, to Lewis's point, is that she's little.
Yeah,
she's
that. But just like Zelina, she shows that her height isn't a disadvantage. Same with Drake as well. These people are so gifted, and they're not getting their. I mean, Alexa did, to be fair, but they're not getting their opportunity because of their height. But I feel like they use that height to their advantage, and they can really put on some amazing matches.
I want to see Zelina Vega and Alexa Bliss in the ring together because
they would be amazing
are
together.
of a size and could do some Botch?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, they could do some amazing work. And before I move on, I want to mention one name that none of us have mentioned, who deserves huge props for what she's done in the WWE specifically, and that's Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
Because she's right up there. She is this close to Maya because Rhea, I have to mention that Rhea makes her own jackets.
She does. Yeah, that's true.
And she stopped making her own pants just because she doesn't have the time lately. So she deserves those props. But she is so good.
And she's got she has a look that is unlike anybody else's. She has like a look and a vibe about her that is different from everybody else. She really stands out. She can get it done in the ring. Her theme song is great. Like the way it screams, "This is my brutality!" Like it's perfect. It gets your attention, and she knows how to keep it.
You know who she makes me think of? Not because of, it's more the vibe, the feel. Just to go really old school with women. She makes me think of Luna Vachon. She has that sexy rock and roll edge to her, that hardcoreness that a lot of the women these days don't have. And I mean, it's not because the hair and stuff, but the shaved sides help. But it's not the look, it's the vibe, it's the feel, the willingness to go in there and do anything and make it work. Luna was one of my favorites. She was born at the wrong time for the industry.
Go ahead.
I remember first seeing Rhea because I didn't know anything about her until the May Classic.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw her and I was just like, she's good, but I don't really see anything about her. And then when the next time she turned up in the Mae Young, I was like, okay, I get it.
Oh yeah, as soon as I saw her the first time, I knew.
This is kind of like the advantage of somebody coming into the machinery and the machinery making her better.
Oh yeah.
So.
Absolutely, and I have to say, just because we're going there and we're gonna have to talk about these women, it's really nice to see somebody like Rhea kind of leveling the playing field, considering in the United States the only Aussie women we have in the ring, other than Emma, who is not in the WWE anymore, is the Bleeping Iconics, and they make us all want to just put them on a boat back to Australia. So Rhea definitely helps.
See, I disagree slightly with that, because while the Iconics are annoying, which I think shows they are good, because that is their persona. They're supposed to be annoying. They're supposed to annoy us, and they're doing well at that job. But for me, Peyton Royce, as soon as they split up, Peyton Royce is going to go far.
Oh, me too. I don't know if you heard. I said Billy's annoying.
Yeah.
I actually really like Peyton Royce, and I think she has a huge upside without Billy. The problem is it makes me think of Edge and Christian. It makes me think Billy Kay is the Marty Jannetty of that team.
But Billy's annoying because she's supposed to be. Lewis said it already, and I completely agree with him. She's doing exactly what she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
She's annoying because she's supposed to be annoying. So that she annoys you means she's doing her job really well.
No, because she annoys me ex-Pac heat. She doesn't annoy me, wow, she's doing good at her job.
That's what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to annoy you Xbox style. She's doing it.
Yeah.
You hate her. Beautiful.
She just, I don't feel it. I don't believe her.
I think her in-ring work isn't as good as it should be.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'll give you.
Don't vibe
But
her.
I think-
I don't feel her. I think she's like a gnat and little more.
But I think Billy is great on the mic, but not so good in the ring.
Oh, her
but
ring
Peyton,
work
I think, is
is-
both.
Yeah, you want Billy to shut up, which is the idea, but she doesn't
Yeah.
have as much in the ring as Peyton does. In fact, really not even close, honestly.
No.
Yeah. I mean, she does a better job than Lana.
Well,
Well, I mean, how many opportunities has Lana actually had to be anything in the ring anyway?
No, I mean, on the mic.
Oh. Well, I don't know. I mean,
I
see,
don't-
I mean, no, as in
Yes.
recently. I mean, when Lana was the Russian talking for Rusev, I thought she was really
was
great.
great
She was
then.
brilliant. But since
God,
this,
wow, it was beautiful.
since this wedding
yeah.
rubbish, she's been awful on the mic.
Yeah, the
Awful.
dirty faced Lana.
In Lana's defense, she did everything she could. She was
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame her.
tried
I
so
don't,
hard.
but I would argue that someone better on the mic could make a half decent job of it.
You think
Because
so? With that though, because it was just so.
yeah, but look at some of the awful gimmicks that people have had. Look at Stardust. Like, you get these awful gimmicks and people do a half decent job with it. She's had this terrible stuff going on, but if there was some better, they could have made it half interesting.
See, I think she did make it half interesting. She did. It wasn't totally interesting. I agree with you there all day long. But she did. You could see it. It was like a gerbil in a wheel. She was burning daylight, doing everything that she possibly could because the storyline made absolutely no sense. She was trying to make it into something, and she had. I like Lashley in the ring. He just can't talk. And when you're working with somebody that can't talk, you've got to work that much harder. And she did what she could. Did it totally work? No, of course not. I agree with you. But I kind of think that she did everything she could, and she went above and beyond the call of duty to try to make it work.
But now she's working with MVP who can talk.
Oh yes.
He's making
Still
her look
sucks.
awful. Like, her go-to is just screaming. It's
Well,
like, come on.
That's what they're giving her.
Yeah.
You can't forget that it's not. Oh, you'll love this. WWE is scripted. Everything is scripted. It just is, and there's nothing wrong with that. We obviously don't hate WWE. I don't. I've been watching the product forever. But it's scripted. So what she's doing is scripted. She's not coming up with that off the top of her head. So that's just what they're giving her to work with. Could she give
But
a little
there's
more even to
delivery.
that? Maybe.
But her delivery has been off lately. It used to be so on point, and lately it's just been.
I think once she dropped the Russian accent, that's when it went down for the hill for her, which is unusual because usually it works the other way around. As soon as you drop the accent, you improve.
Kofi.
She's just completely,
Yeah.
she's gone completely the other way. She's gotten worse without the accent.
It was
I
so
feel-
good as the ravishing Russian.
I feel like she had a personality with the Russian accent.
Well, but she didn't need as much of a personality then. She was just the Ice Queen. And it was brilliant. Shut Up is the greatest thing ever. It should have been on a shirt.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Excuse me?
What happened?
Excuse me? The best? Excuse me?
She's talking about Vicky.
Is the one who
Oh.
made that
Well, no, but
new
you have to do.
thing phrase.
Hey! That way. Like, give yourself to it.
I mean, you know, sometimes somebody can, like you said, shut up. It's how they say it and not what they're saying.
Oh, yeah. Like, yes only works if it's Daniel Bryan.
Exactly.
We just talked about that on Backstage. That would have worked for anybody else except for Daniel Bryan. He just made it work. And Shut Up worked really well for Lara.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
No. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of that, John.
I think we all are, but still. It doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's lots of them. Yeah.
Sorry.
You gotta do it.
We've been focusing on NXT and Raw a lot so far, and since we're there, I think we should bring up the elephant in the room. Oh God!
That's not nice at all.
I didn't mean it that way. I did not mean it that way at all.
That was impolite.
I mean, she does wrestle like an elephant. Let's be honest. She just tramples over everyone.
As bad as Queen is.
It's a phrase, elephant in the room. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's a beast. Okay, let me rephrase that. She's heavier. Hey, I'm a fat chick, Botch. You are talking to a fat chick. It doesn't work.
Deflection. This is good. I like deflection.
I mean,
this isn't awkward at all, by the way. It's fine.
Huh?
This isn't awkward at all. It's fine.
Anybody who would call me catty over that, who knows my body shape, can get bent.
I mean, if we were to compare her to an animal, I would say a bull in a china shop. She just destroys everything.
Yeah.
She's so bad.
Including her competitors.
Yeah.
I hope they keep Kyrie away from her.
Oh, please. Like, how many injuries has she given her now? 3?
Twice in 2 weeks.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, but three in total. The buckle bomb.
Yep.
Then smacking her head against the things in the backstage promo, and then the stairs, isn't it? Because didn't she hurt her in the backstage bit?
There's 3.
Mm.
She's basically playing crash test dummy for Nia Jax.
Which is ridiculous because she's, it's been a while, but she also had that, Kyrie, not Nia, had that problem when Charlotte put her through the table. What event was that? I don't remember. Kyrie went through a table, or was it Asuka who went? No, it was Kyrie who went through the table and was not there.
Got concussed. Yeah. I remember. You're right.
So Kyrie, you'd think that people would be a little more careful, but then again, it's Nia, and she hasn't been careful, and she proved that when she took Becky out the way she did by accident.
I mean, the irony of her defending Bliss, and while I do agree with it, defending someone who's getting physically hurt by another competitor in the ring, you've got to call it out. But how she hasn't been sent back to do the basics so she doesn't hurt her competitors, I will not understand.
She's like Ahmed Johnson with better hair. It's the same thing over and over and over again, because Ahmed Johnson used to make people bleed internally.
Yeah.
Because of that spear that he didn't know how to throw.
Yep.
So it's kind of the same thing all over again with Nia, and I agree with you. Like, just send her back to the Performance Center for a little while to figure this out, to get the fundamentals together, so that she doesn't seriously injure somebody because she could.
I think
she's been out for a year, so her skills are that much worse.
But I think the issue for her, in a sort of defense to her, is she got sent up to the main show far too quickly.
Yes.
She needed to be on NXT to really learn, really figure out who she was and how to work the ring. She didn't get that opportunity. They sent her to the top, and then Vince has gone, she's a big girl. She could be like our Karma that we missed out on.
Yeah.
She can be that beast in the ring and destroy her opponents, and she doesn't know how to do that safely.
Yeah. Well, and then her name too. Like, that's the reason she really got called up, because nepotism, because The Rock.
Family.
Yeah, because family. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she probably could be something. She just needs to fix the fundamentals so she doesn't hurt anybody.
Exactly.
She's not without charisma when she talks. She can do it. She just needs to fix that.
gorgeous. She has a beautiful look. She's gorgeous. She looks lovely. And she can change her look with her hair and a variety of things. And don't get me started on the ring gear, but it's just, I honestly think she just doesn't know how to control her strength with these much smaller women. And that's what I think, beyond fundamentals, it comes down to she needs to learn her strength, physical strength, and not go out there full bore. Because I think if she went out there at 50%, she'd probably be a lot better.
Yeah, she'd probably still be just as compelling.
Exactly.
She has a lot of upside to her. She has the potential to be one of the best female wrestlers out there, but she needs to learn the fundamentals of how to wrestle in the ring, which is basically wrestling 101.
Right.
And it can be done. Tamina does it. And Tamina is even more gorgeous, by the way. I kind of have a crush on Tamina. I always have. But I
have too.
See, there you go.
How she's never been a champion, I'll never know. Other than, obviously, 24/7 champion.
Because she couldn't talk. She freezes when she has to talk.
I'm going there since you're bringing it up, not talking or can't talk well. I'm going to SmackDown now with Bayley. Go.
I mean, yeah, she was great in NXT.
Yes.
But something just hasn't translated over to the main show.
Yeah.
No matter what she does, she just isn't convincing.
No, she's not. I agree.
I thought they were going to make her like the female Cena, like, the underdog superhero kind of person, that the children will love and buy all her stuff. But she never, and she was that completely in NXT, and then that just didn't translate over to the main show.
She couldn't live up to it. So hard. She just couldn't. It's interesting to note that she couldn't, because she's full of all of this passion. I remember there was this video that they did with her where she was reading this letter that she'd written as a kid. Like, the passion is there. Why it hasn't translated to her mic, or why, as Lewis was mentioning, why her NXT skills did not translate to the main roster, I'll never know. Her fall from grace has just been spectacular.
I actually, until recently, honestly believed that her biggest problem was the larger crowd, that she, like Dana Brooke, struggles with a larger crowd than NXT has, or house shows, but, well, we've proven that's not it.
Yeah. I will say, though, the stuff with Nikki on commentary last SmackDown was brilliant.
But that was her, like, totally freaking out at Nikki being Nikki.
That was thanks to Nikki, but it still brought something out of her, which was what was needed to be seen.
Right.
Nikki made that work. That wasn't it.
And I don't, right up there with Bayley, I'm not a Sasha fan at all these days, but what do you guys think? Oh, I can't stand her. I think she's a spoiled brat.
Since the whole WrestleMania stuff, I think I've not been interested in her at all.
No.
I am. If they do have the feud that they've been building for how many years now between Bayley and Sasha, I think it could be good. But I feel like that could regenerate Sasha to be interesting again. I think that would be great for her career, not so much Bayley's. But
I think if Sasha looked like she cared, it would help revamp her career too.
I mean, I think she's
or gave off the vibe that she gave a care, because she really doesn't, beyond her character, she really doesn't seem like she wants to be there.
When she came back and had the feud with Becky, I thought, okay, we're getting the old Sasha back. And then she lost, and then it kind of just went back to how she was again.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, she doesn't care again.
That's the vibe I'm getting. I'm getting the I'm phoning it in vibe.
I do wonder if she's eventually going to run her contract down and move over to a rival company.
Well, I mean,
I'd be surprised. I'd be more expecting her to go into music or something else.
before we
Maybe.
read too much into what we've been seeing, we need to remember the position that she's in. She's supposed to be acting essentially like Bailey's second banana. Like that, she's supposed to be that. She's supposed to be cavalier. She's supposed to act like she doesn't care. She's simply do that's Becky. That's Sasha Banks doing her job. Like she's doing
Yes.
exactly what she's supposed to do. And please also remember that as they've been teasing this feud here lately, that maybe we'll get sometime before the administration runs out, that she is showing tremendous nuance when she's supposed to, when somebody goes to her to speak. Remember that whole thing with Charlotte, when Charlotte was trying to egg her on?
Yeah.
She showed tremendous nuance on her face. She showed that she absolutely did care. She was dead perfect, like, oh, this is delicious. Because she was just standing there like, I want to talk, but I don't know if I should. And then before she could, she decided she would, and then Bailey would take over and not let her talk. Like the tease, when she's in the middle of a tease, it's fantastic. It's just that if she's not in the tease, she doesn't have to care. So she
Right.
acts like she doesn't care.
Well, the thing is that it's not just on the show, it's her comments to the media, in or out of character. These are the things that people were saying about Alberto Del Rio while I was saying he was phoning it in too.
Yeah, but he really was. He absolutely was. His character was not to phone it in either. But in a character where he was supposed to be committed, he wasn't. It was kind of like Randy Orton disease. Because
Yeah.
Randy
And that's
had
the vibe
everything.
I get from Sasha most of the time, and have online. And other than when she has those nuanced moments, I just don't believe her.
She just needs more material to play with. I think it's just a lack of stuff to do.
I'll agree. She needs more material.
And I would say I think they've treated
on Bailey at this point to really. I don't mean to cut you off, Lewis.
No,
that's right.
It's kind of like it's really on Bailey to kind of drive at this point, even though we all know that Sasha would be much better in the role of driving. Like if the positions were reversed and Sasha was the champ and Bailey was second banana, it would be fabulous.
I think it would have been much better of a story as well.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah, please go ahead, Lewis. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, like with Sasha, I do understand her grievances, because the way that she, along with Charlotte and Becky and Bailey, but mainly her and Charlotte, built this new era of wrestling.
Yeah.
And then she's just been kicked to the curb, and it was about Becky and Charlotte.
Well, she was also injured more often than not.
She was.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, the feud with her and Charlotte, and how she'd always lose to Charlotte at pay-per-views, she was solid throughout that, and she just was never given that
I will agree
victory.
True. Yeah, because she'd get it and then give it up right away.
Exactly.
Never able to hold the strap for any length of time.
No.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite Raw moments was when Sasha won up in the stands with the hold on the railing and the whole bit. That was just such a beautiful moment on Raw. And then she lost it at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, she did. And I mean, the rumor that I'm hearing, and I think you guys are hearing it too, is that they're trying to wait for a pay-per-view to be in her hometown before they do anything. So that's got something to do with it too. And of course, with Rona,
in 2 years,
it's harder to do. So
maybe 3.
The whole thing's in flux. Who knows?
I know.
Thank you, COVID.
So let's see. We're on SmackDown. I guess we should mention Lacey.
Gosh, I like Lacey. I really do.
I love her.
Yeah,
she
has
the potential. I would love to see Lacey move to Raw.
Sure.
I do. Me too. As much as I love having her on SmackDown, Raw might be a better spot for her right now.
And she can do she can do anything. She can be heel. She's even taken her catchphrase and made it face. She knows how to make either one work. She's just
Lacey and Asuka.
And great in the ring.
That would be
yes.
I would love to see that.
On Raw for the strap. Can I change my predicts? I'm kidding.
No, she's really, really good. You know what we haven't done is talk about the very worst.
Well, Okay, I wanted to talk about one more best first.
Oh, go ahead, please. Yes. I like best. I like positive.
Asuka.
Mm.
We haven't spoken about Asuka, one of the all-time best.
Yes.
And a working mum on
Yeah.
top of all of that.
And
As we recently found out.
Yeah.
Kind of.
As we talked about earlier, COVID has been wonderful for her because she's in a position where there are certain things she just has to do, and she has delivered. She's completely insane, and I love it.
Her mic work is stellar.
Yes, and it makes no sense.
5
that it
words
doesn't
in
have
English. You get 5 words, baby, you pregnant, baby, Becky, and that's all you need from her because she's so animated.
Forget giving Undertaker a 15-year contract. Give Asuka a 15-year contract.
Keep her forever, ever. Yes, I agree.
Yep.
She's golden.
Watching Charlotte corpse with her when they were doing that interview was the coolest thing. Because bless her, Charlotte just couldn't keep it together. It was so funny watching her struggle to keep it. Asuka's awesome. I love Asuka.
Yes.
Love.
Yes.
I do have another one that I want to mention quickly before we go to bed.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
In the WWE?
Yes, WWE. Okay. And I feel like she could be the next big heel that I feel should be. I feel she should be a champion soon. Sonya Deville.
Thank you.
Yes, Daddy. Yes.
My girl. I have been calling for this since she and Mandy came up, and I went, no, I want that one, not the blonde thing.
I was getting sick and tired of not seeing her wrestle, but I like how that's played into the story, that it's all been about Mandy and now it's her time to shine, and she is shining.
Yes.
Her match
stepped up.
Her match on SmackDown, that could have been a whole hour, and I would not have gotten bored of her and Lacey. That was fantastic.
It really was
good.
There's this charisma that we knew she had anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I personally just didn't expect it to be like this.
I remember back in Tough Enough, and I was like, she's interesting, but how good will she be? And
I saw little blurbs of her on Total Divas, and I'm like, okay, I could see it on TV, but seeing it on oh my God, this woman has everything needed.
She really does, and she turned on Mandy and just turned it on like
beautifully.
Yeah,
perfectly.
Delicious.
Mark Henry retirement beauty.
Because I really thought it was going to be the lesbian story, and I was like, I'm not sure we want to go down this route. I don't know if it's needed. And then it was that complete turn. I was like, this is it. This is how she becomes a star.
Yeah,
so much greatness.
Raven-haired evil woman is just perfect for her, and she nails. She's absolutely nailing it.
She is
gorgeous. This is like a Dakota Kai-esque heel turn. That's how good it is. She's just absolutely it. That's another one I love dearly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
On top of
that turn on Knox was that was beautiful.
Gosh, it was so good, and I have to give credit where credit is due. Morrow killed that too. Like
who?
He's way overdone, but Morrow helped with that big time. I'll give it
he did.
all day long. The scream.
The only thing I didn't like about that heel turn was the fact, and I get why they did it, but I don't like that Rhea's team won. I feel like that turn should have cost the match.
Yes,
but really it made no difference to the match. And I'm kind of like, I get why, because you're going on the whole Rhea Ripley is going to win the title
it's
give her a push, but
they also built Candice quite a bit in that match, hugely.
That's true. Yeah,
I mean, it was a great match, and don't get me wrong, but I just feel the outcome was wrong for me. I feel like Dakota Kai turning should have been a deciding factor.
I get it. I see it
too. And I mean, the thing is, like, of everything that happened that night, like I do remember the match. I'm not suggesting that I don't, but the best thing about that entire match was that heel turn. That is what sticks out in my head the most. So I agree with you, Lewis. Like, they should have taken advantage of that and made it linear, made the story.
That's interesting, because for me, what I remember from that match is mostly everything after that point. Just how good the wrestling was in the ring.
The wrestling in the ring was fantastic.
It was good, but it was just,
But
it just stuck out so completely.
yeah,
She was so masterful at it and so merciless about it. And then Morrow commentating at the same time and helping to tell the story. It was
because
just,
I think
it just had us like, oh my
yeah,
gosh.
because I think what was so great about it was as well was everyone knew her turning was coming. I mean, the way she was being treated, like, oh no, we're not picking you for the team and stuff. Like, I felt it was so obvious that it was coming,
Right.
but I don't think anyone expected that to happen.
I don't think anyone expected her to be able to carry off a heel turn.
And that as well,
Never mind
yeah.
carry off a heel turn to that level.
Yeah.
Because that was so far above and beyond what I thought she had in her.
Yeah, same. She'd been so vanilla up to that point, and just
Mm.
kind of the friend, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden she became Satan.
Oh, she is fantastic. She blew me away that night.
Same,
Totally changed my thoughts on her.
same. That's
'Cause
exactly.
I was always a fan of her. When I first saw her in the Mae Young, I was like, I like her. I thought she was brilliant in the ring. I was like, she's interesting. I'll, see what she can do. And then they just didn't really do anything with her. And I think that in part is to do with the injuries that she had. But then as soon as that heel turn, that's it. I was like, yeah, this is right.
So much greatness in that little tiny body.
Yeah, yeah. And then even after they get carrying the brace to the ring, and it
Yeah.
was just carrying the carcass to the ring.
So,
Of course, that's producing and booking and all that. But if she doesn't do it the way she did it, wouldn't have worked anywhere near as well.
she's so flip with it too. So it just, yeah.
And now she could be the cowardly heel with Raquel, who, bless her heart, just can't do it yet.
I don't know. I
she's
like
big
the last
into
match
it.
she had. The last match she had, she showed a lot of potential. The match with Shotzi, wasn't it? I think
It was definitely better, but Shotzi did a lot of work in that match.
Yeah, but I mean, she's getting the experience that Nia needed, and I think she will be a good monster heel. I think she's got that potential.
I think so too. The problem is her thing is being smothered because Dakota has so much silos full of thing, and anybody that's kind of under somebody like that isn't going to really be able to showcase themselves. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they inevitably break apart from one another.
For me, it feels a lot like Shawn Michaels and Diesel.
Okay.
I feel like
Okay, I see that.
I feel like they're kind of telling a little bit of that kind of story, and I think I mean, we all saw how well Kevin Nash did.
Yeah.
After that, I feel like Gonzalez has, if she can, really improve her in-ring skills, which I think we'll be getting there. I mean, she's had how many matches on TV? 2, 3?
Yeah, very few, yeah. Well, and I mean, as far as that comparison is concerned, I mean, Kevin Nash is Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash is squeaky good on a microphone. He had, I could see it on Queen's face. He had incredible good looks. He was tall and slender. You could just send him out there back in the unscripted days of WCW. There's that word again. Just send him out there and go, I need you to get to this point. And Kevin would go, cool. And then just go out there and absolutely kill it and have us in the palm.
And land on that point.
I mean, so much of, I know I won't stay on Kevin long because it's a guy, but so much of what made WCW television compelling during the NWO days was him on a microphone.
Exactly. It wasn't
much in a ring. But it could be. Scott was great too, but most of the driving was Kevin. And
see, I never really watched WCW. I was a WWE guy, so I don't really see that stuff from him myself. I saw that in WWE, but
you got to go back and catch it.
Yeah, you really should.
Watching Kevin Nash drive, because he would start the show on a microphone and just tell stories.
Yep.
And I don't know that anybody other than Eric Bischoff himself did that better.
I will say, not in WCW, but I will say Triple H did a good job of it in WWE a lot of the time.
True.
Just to give Tripp his props, because he was very similar to Nash in a lot of things he did in WWE.
And then recently did it again with the Gargano Ciampa match. Like got in there, like helped them to. He didn't have to do it alone, of course, because they could do it themselves. But help them tell a much more compelling story because he was do it.
Okay. So, Botch, you are going to go for the worst end in the WWE. We got to keep it WWE for tonight, I think.
In the WWE. Okay. We already said her. The very worst.
The very worst being?
The very worst in terms of ring work can only be Nia Jax.
Oh, absolutely. Agreed.
It's hard to argue with that point.
And it has nothing to do with her size. It's just, as we said earlier, it's just about being seemingly unable to keep her opponent safe. I mean, they're trusting you. She's trusting you with her body, and you can seriously hurt somebody. This is not a mystery. And she keeps hurting people over and over and over and over again. Just get it together. Stop hurting people. And we're good.
I want to, since you're talking about hurting people, I want to touch on one little subject real quick. Mm-hmm. And the fact of how many female wrestlers have struggled to get pregnant after they worked a number of years in the ring. So adding Nia injuring people just makes me think of that as a woman, because I know a lot of women after they've been in the ring struggle to conceive. Thank goodness Becky didn't have any issues. But I mean, we've seen it in a number of other female wrestlers. And if Nia's injuring people left and right, that's just one more concern in the back of my head.
Oh, I agree. And we have to bring up another one too. So we already talked about Nia. I want a fresh one. We have to talk about Natalya too, bless her heart, who can absolutely go in a ring all day long. I'm not complaining about her ring work, never would. I'd have to be blind.
Milk
I am,
toast.
however, complaining about her lack of character and the fact that we don't care. No. She's used as she's like a rite of passage. She's not used as anybody that matters, and she can't talk at all. She just, there's no, it's so interesting given her lineage and given
she's so vanilla.
She has, there it is. She has nothing. She gives nothing. That's my problem with Natalya.
She is so vanilla.
Yes.
I feel like she's only been in WWE this long because of her lineage, for one, and because she's a workhorse. Yeah. I think anyone else that was anything like Natalya would have been out that door 5 years ago by
please. Now. Foxy's been around forever, too.
Who?
And has never Alicia Fox.
Right, yeah.
And has never been the top. She was a rite of passage for quite a while, too.
But she had a personality.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Only toward...
Her wrestling wasn't great up until towards the end.
Until toward the end. When she finally started being psycho... That's when she found personality. Before that, Foxy was as boring as Natty.
She was a diva.
Exactly. So was Natty.
Oh, yeah, big time. But she was the diva that could work.
Right. She and Beth Phoenix were the anti-divas in a lot of ways. Well, Paige was the epitome of anti-diva, but...
Yes. I'm so glad you mentioned her, because she was the first one in a long time, probably since Wendy Richter. That we got to go back there. But that we looked at and went, oh yeah, we do. Wendy Richter was amazing. Who are you thinking?
Yeah, Wendy's amazing, but there's been somebody since Wendy who I truly believe, if she was born and raised in the right era, she would be holding her own with these women right now.
Who? Tell me.
Ivory.
Yeah. I'll give you Ivory all day long. Sure.
She is my favorite of all the past women.
Jacqueline was good though, from what I remember.
For me, I love Ivory.
Oh, I do too. I don't dislike Ivory, but Wendy Richter was the one. She was the one that started it.
Oh, I'm not saying she didn't start it, but you said we have to go all the way back through the divas to get to her, whereas Ivory had it.
She did. I agree with you, but I think Wendy had even more of it.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that. But
Wendy was just she was incredible in the ring. She could work with the fabulous Moolah, who was impossible to work with, by the way.
Right.
Moolah was good in the ring, but she would hurt you. She didn't care.
Since we're talking bad people, since we're there, we'll go back to Wendy. Since we're there, let's just have a 30 seconds or whatever about how Moolah almost single-handedly ruined women's wrestling for decades.
She did.
I think.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think whatever we can say doesn't do it justice. I think people need to watch the episode of Dark Side of the Ring where they focused on Moolah and just exactly what she did.
She completely killed careers. She hurt people. She was racist. This was a horrible.
She was a madam. She was sending girls out to have sex with people.
Yes.
And taking money for it.
Yes.
She was a horrible human being.
Horrible. And they wanted to name a battle royal.
No, so misjudged that was. So misjudged.
Me too. I missed all of that until very late.
Oh gosh, we knew about it from the very beginning, just watching, because she was trained, the problem was she was training everybody, and she was on the take from all of those women, from Peggy Lee Leather, Velvet McIntyre, Wendy Richter herself. She was just on the take from all of these women and taking most of their money in the process. They were all kind of like living in a commune kind of thing and training in bad conditions. And I'm not talking the Heart Dungeon, worse than that. And it was just, she had such a monopoly on women getting into the business. They all had to go through her.
Right.
And she developed such an ego about it that she would put women through absolutely anything in order just to have wrestling careers. Just an absolutely horrible human being. And I'm completely baffled that WWE felt for even 5 seconds that having a battle royal named after her was even remotely a good idea. And it was only until Snickers stepped in and went, nah, that they finally stopped it.
But WWE had her on the air all the way until the end. I mean, yes, she was one of the few people who could keep Mae Young from being too drunk on television. I will give her that. But
neither of them should have really been on television.
What?
I said neither of them should really have been on television at that point.
Not at that point, but
I agree.
No, but I have to say the last time we saw Mae Young on TV, and she was really, really old. It was for her birthday. I don't remember which one. And she was very, very much a little old woman. And she kept going to Steph, remember when you were just this big? And da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, the camera was on her, but she was so... But it was touching to me that they brought her back for her birthday to give her one last little moment. And they did, you know, they did it all backstage and everything. And I thought that was really sweet because she was very much part of the family. And I think other than some of the things that happened during the Divas era, I think WWE did quite well by Mae Young in the end.
She was in with Fabulous Moolah. I don't find her adorable at all. I'm unmoved.
Okay.
Well, can we just quickly move on from all of that and talk about something that I'm very happy that WWE has done, and that is, of course, the first ever WrestleMania main event being 3 women. I mean, who would have ever thought, especially back in the Divas age, that would ever have been an option?
And the story that got it there.
Yeah.
The cop cars, though.
That was so ridiculous, but amazing at the same time.
History was so good. It was so good. And I remember we were talking about it at DD, Queen and I, just loving every second of this. It was so good.
I think I remember I was there going, what the hell is going on? This is ridiculous, but loving it. I still love it. I was like, this is just ridiculous.
It was looking so good. The whole thing was...
So much greatness.
Yes, Ronda rose to the occasion, bless her, because she'd been kind of one-dimensional up until that point.
Up until a couple weeks before, they started letting her be herself on the mic, and that's when things really went from to...
I think with Ronda, she's kind of more of a natural heel. Like, I don't think she's a horrible person, but I think the way she carries herself, she works better as a heel than a face.
Don't screw with her.
She wanted to be loved, and when that did, it was kind of like a Rocky Maivia, The Rock thing. Because he was initially set up to be loved, and when that didn't work, Rock went, fine, you don't love me, I kind of don't love you either.
Exactly.
she just exploded all over everybody, and that was what we wanted from her to begin with, and she really began to flourish.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will fully admit, I had issues with Charlotte being at it. It felt like Vince felt she needed to be there for it to happen, whereas she did add a lot, but I think they could have done without her.
I think.
But it was a better match with her.
Oh yeah, I was going to say I don't think a match with Ronda and Becky would have been great, but I don't think it would have been main event top match, because I don't think Ronda could have pulled off that kind of match. Well, adding Charlotte in there adds that dimension, adds that extra layer, adds the great wrestling that we got to see.
Takes weight off of Becky.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that Becky could, and I mean the way they told the story, and I mean, just again, I have to keep evoking the whole cop car thing. That wouldn't have worked nearly as well if Charlotte wasn't there.
Yeah.
Charlotte
wouldn't have had those moments.
Yeah, it was like during that segment, it's like, oh, that's why she's there, because this is beautiful. Kicking Ronda's face off is a nice touch. Becky wasn't there to do it. Charlotte did it. It was beautiful. The way that she did it,
right?
It was just, that was a Charlotte thing, and only Charlotte could have done it. It was great. So up until that point, I agree completely with Queen. Like, why is she here? But after that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll live with this. This is good.
It really, she did add a lot to the match. And while I was not happy leading up to it, it was so much greatness in that ring. And even, oh God, I'm flashing to that Royal Rumble and how amazing that was with Becky on one leg and, you know, Charlotte thinking she had won it all, and nope. The whole build was so good.
It was. I have to go back really quickly to Wendy Richter too, because we kind of left. We've kind of left poor Wendy.
We did. Sorry, I said we'd go back. We're back.
Allow me to be old for a moment.
Hey, watch it.
Picture it, Sicily, 1935. No, I'm kidding. Connecticut, 1985. We'll do that. Queen and I were both kids, and we were both watching.
I wasn't born then.
Yeah, I know you weren't.
Yeah.
Go suck on some Similac while the grown-ups tell stories.
You're younger than my oldest child, so here we go.
Oh my gosh.
He's younger than Ellie.
Wow. All the things. But so let's go back briefly to the Rock and Wrestling connection. Back in the mid-'80s. Up until that point, women's wrestling was a sideshow.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, it really, I was looking for other words, but those are the words you used. That's what it was. I mean, you had the Velvet McIntyres, the Peggy Lee Leathers of the world, Mae Young herself, who wasn't terribly active at that point, but Fabulous Moolah was, because she was booking them all. So, of course, she was going to be there. The
side shows were the women and the midgets, and that's just how it was.
Right, the midgets, yeah. I remember the midgets. There was like 3 or 4 of them that we saw on a regular basis. But they were those
were just the side shows at that point.
Well, but the midgets were kind of a comedy act kind of thing.
Right, and they were given better treatment than the women.
They were. They really. Little Tokyo specifically talked about it years after the fact. That mentioned.
Well, later on, Max Mini, even during Divas era, was treated better than most of the divas at that point.
Hornswoggle later, who it turns out could actually kind of really work, because he's doing it on the indies and he's fun to watch.
Well, he was billed as the sexiest midget in the ring or something like that before the WWE.
He was, but back in the 80s, we have the sideshow, which is women and the midgets, but probably mostly the women at that point. And they were all under, I promise I'll leave this alone, but they were all kind of under Moolah's tutelage at that point. They all got booked because of Moolah.
Yeah.
But there was no woman that really stuck out. Even by that point, I think Moolah was in her early 50s, right, Queen?
Mm-hmm.
She was already kind of, please forgive me, she was, for a wrestling ring, she was kind of already aged. And she was not only Moolah, but she was the Spider Lady as well.
Oh, God, yes.
She played a couple of different characters. And the Spider Lady was important for reasons I'll get into in a moment. But there was no gorgeous woman who could work the ring who really stuck out until Wendy Richter showed up.
Right.
And Wendy had been working for a few years prior anyway. Thank you, Moolah, for that, for giving us Wendy Richter. But she could really get in there and tell stories. She was a little broken on the microphone, and Vince knew that. And because Vince is so genius, Vince thought, you know what we'll do? I'll get Cyndi Lauper, and I'll take care of this right now, because Cyndi can talk. Cindy's a singer. She's an entertainer.
Yeah.
Girls just want to have fun, all of that. So we'll pay for Cyndi Lauper, and she'll come in and she'll help you do some talking, and this will be great. And it was. There's no way that you can have the Rock and Wrestling Connection without Wendy Richter and without Cyndi Lauper.
Right.
So Wendy was incredible in the ring, even though as the Spider Lady, Wendy Richter was almost severely hurt in that match with her. But she was kind of like the first star that was really taken seriously, even though if you watch the shoot interview with Wendy Richter, she was treated very, very poorly backstage.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was awful, but you got to watch it. It's on YouTube. But the crowd loved her. She had a personality that you could love. She wasn't some untouchable diva. She
Right.
was some woman that got in the ring that was beautiful, that could do it, and she was relatable. She was just fantastic. She's still to this day one of the best I've ever seen. And she established that it could be possible for a woman to get in the ring and do it just like the guys did, and in some cases do it better than the guys, and tell stories that were every bit as compelling,
Right.
if not